Let's move on. There are winners and losers in life. Joey B. Hopefully this is the last time we've got to talk about Joey B for a long, long time. He pardoned over 8,000 people. The only other president that pardoned more was Jimmy Carter when he pardoned all the people that didn't go to Vietnam. That they didn't say. I can't remember what's the word I'm looking for.
Draft dodgers.
Draft dodgers. Yes, it was like 250,000 people. He gave them, pardoned them. The real interesting part, though, Humble, the last 15 minutes before he was out of office, and El Trumpo was giving a speech, so he didn't even know about it. He decided he is going to preemptively pardon several people. He's going to preemptive pardon Mark Milley, General Mark Milley. He's a high up who said he warned China about El Trumpo way back in the day. He's also been very, very woke. Liz Cheney, who 2 weeks ago, she got the Presidential Citizens Medal, which is the second highest honor a citizen can get, and now she needs a pardon. Okay. By the way, preemptive. Like she's not under arrest for anything yet. Not on trial on anything. Also, Adam Schiff. Okay. Adam Kinzinger. Dr. Fauci, which that's a big one. And all members of the January 6th committee. And one final one. Every member of his family going back to 2014. And the preemptive pardons, that means before they've even done anything. And Jenna, do you have a video of someone named Joy Reid and Adam Schiff that you could play for us?
Ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family.
Is there an innocent explanation for someone to seek preemptive pardons for family members? Would you do that if you knew you were innocent and just worried about outside forces?
The answer to that is going to be no. If you haven't done anything wrong, you sit there and go, what do you need a preemptive pardon for?
If he pardons people preemptively, he's essentially telling the public that these people have committed crimes. And we may not be aware of what they are, but the pardon is clear evidence.
Family.
Okay, just pause there, Jenna, because we're going to come back to it. Don't lose the spot. Everyone, these are all people talking about El Trumpo when they thought he was going to pardon everyone. They're not talking about Joey B. This is happening several years ago. They're talking about Trumpo. Go ahead, Jenna. There's about another minute left, I think. It's so fantastic.
People that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family.
Is there an innocent explanation for someone to seek preemptive pardons for family members? Would you do that if you knew you were innocent and just worried about outside forces?
The answer to that is going to be no. If you haven't done anything wrong, you sit there and go, what do you need a preemptive pardon for?
If he pardons people preemptively, he's essentially telling.
Okay, we're done with that, Jenna. It's going to just keep going over and over and over. And Jenna says, is it like a jail free card? She wants one. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
For all federal crimes.
For
Correct.
a federal crime.
Federal crimes.
So, Humble, do you want to explain it to people about how state and federal could be different on this one?
Yeah, so when a president issues a pardon, it only covers you for federal crimes. So, for instance, it came out on Twitter or X about an hour or so ago. The district attorney in Philadelphia is looking at how he can charge any J6er that has any ties to the state of Pennsylvania. And the reason he's doing that is the same reason that they tried Trump in New York State under a state statute, not a federal one, because presidential pardons only cover federal crimes, not state and below. So that is the pardon right there, right? Is that the presidential pardon can only help you on federal crimes. What's funny is, do you know where this whole preemptive pardon thing started and came out of?
I'm listening.
There's been one preemptive pardon in the history of the United States. Do you know what it was?
No.
Gerald Ford gave a preemptive pardon to Richard Nixon when he left office. That is the only preemptive pardon ever given. So when Trump looked at doing that, he was going off the basis that no one had ever challenged the preemptive pardon that Gerald Ford gave to Richard Nixon. And he decided against it because he was like, this will probably get challenged in a court of law. I really don't want to go about doing this. This could look really bad. Let's just not do this at all and move out. Right. But for Joey B to do it with the amount of people that he did it, really, like, but that's the precedence. The precedence that they're using is that Gerald Ford preemptively pardoned Richard Nixon from any crimes.
Well, and this sets a precedent now. If Joey B does it, every president would be stupid not to do it 15 minutes beforehand for their family. I mean, and the fact.
For anybody.
Yeah, for anybody, just let it rain. And this is me putting my tinfoil hat on. The fact that it goes to 2014, and that just happens to be when Obama and Fauci took over the Ukraine biolabs, and the CIA took over the Ukraine government.
Well, it's all, that 2014 date isn't necessarily that. What it is that's when Congress passed a law that said you cannot use gain of function. That's why it went to 14.
That's weird, but why would you need to do that?
Strange, isn't it?
It's just so odd. I can't figure it out. I wish I had hair so I could pull some out because it just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, you've got Fauci he does the gain of research function, right? Or gain of function.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's so weird. I don't understand that at all. You're talking a lot about Twitter /X, whatever people want to call it now. And I know a lot of people look at that and they hear that and immediately think, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He does not watch the news. He's getting all of his stuff from podcasters and bloggers. And I have my arguments for that, okay, of actually the mainstream media is no longer as credible as what you once thought it was due to the fact that there's quote unquote so many other reporters out there that aren't paid by the same corporations and they can just actually find out real information and you can see it like literally with your own eyes very, very quickly. So what is your argument for why do you get your information from X?
Well, that X is probably 10% of where I get my info from, man. I read a lot. I watch, and I don't just watch, like I'm a big PBD fan. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I like Tim Pool, but I go to a lot of different places. Like I go to places that most conservatives won't go. And my wife, why are you watching this? How can you stand to watch this stuff? So like, I cannot stand it. I'm like, my whole theory is if you do not understand what the other side is talking about, you can't function.
I agree.
Right? And so I read a lot. Like I said, I'm a professional student, it seems like. So I'm doing a whole bunch of Homeland Security studies now, and I've been digging into FEMA and DHS and a bunch of other stuff. So I read a lot and I watch a lot of different stuff. I don't just watch conservative news, but you're right. I do spend a lot of time, not necessarily on Rumble, but on YouTube and X, because the mainstream media is now they're not about telling you the news. They're about telling you how you have to feel about it. I don't need you to tell me how to feel, dude. I just want you to tell me the facts and let me decide it out. That's why I don't watch mainstream media. I haven't watched mainstream media in probably a decade.